Although Nannie Helen Burroughs is not known by many people, it is very important that we know her story, especially regarding the overlapping civil rights movement and the labor rights movement. She was one of the most influential Black labor leaders of the 20th century. She became a major labor leader, especially in the late 19th century into the 20th century. And she was a leader of many firsts. She was the first Black woman to establish a school outside of the Deep South that was for and managed by Black women. Most schools that were even started for Black people were controlled by white missionaries. It was huge for a Black woman to own her own school. This was also during a time when most schools only offered a limited number and type of courses to Black women because there were still scientific racist ideas that Black women were incapable of learning academic subjects and that they were incapable of doing jobs outside of domestic service and sharecropping. She was also the first Black woman to establish an international labor periodical at a Black school. It was called The Worker, to emphasize the work issues that Black women were facing during the early 20th century. She was the first Black woman to start a national organization, labor organization, specifically for Black domestic workers. She established it in 1921. I think that she laid a foundation for Black women to enter a wide number of occupations. She helped lay a foundation for Black women to enter leadership positions. Without Burroughs and other women like her, I wouldn't have a PhD, and many other Black women wouldn't either. Even though she died in 1961, I think that Burroughs directly influenced the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed employment discrimination on the basis of race, color, sex, and nationality. She also contributed a lot to the Voting Rights Act of 1965 because she also believed that education and labor organizing alone could not stop labor exploitation of Black workers. She also believed in the power of the ballot. I'm also thinking about the Fair Housing Act of 1968. Her report laid some foundational scholarship and research about housing and how it's connected to labor. She really created this very expansive concept of what labor rights could look like. I think that there is a new labor movement on the horizon. People are angered by the latest executive orders. Labor movement leaders are organizing. And there are also some explicit conversations happening right now in unions about racism and sexism that are still in some labor unions. I think this matters when you have Black women in labor leadership positions because often they bring to the positions new and fresh ideas and a commitment and determination to address disparities that have long impacted the lives of workers. Nannie Helen Burroughs was a force to be reckoned with. She was an institution builder. She was a curriculum builder. She was an organizational leader. She was a voting rights advocate. She was a prolific writer and speaker. It is so important that we know her story to get a fuller sense and understanding of the rich labor history that shapes our lives that we all benefit from today.